Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Raquel and I've been so thrilled to do this talk together. It's been a hot topic for both of us. These psychic gifts, these spiritual gifts in the human design chart. And I'm just so excited to dive in as Raquel has given me a lot of clarity about this.
So we have a little fun video for y'all. So hold on
If
while
you
I get
sense
this.
the tempo rising, you're not wrong. We invite you to break the pattern. Awake Shift is a live, intimate gathering for seekers who want clear frameworks, stabilizing practices, and real community for what's arriving. Root deeper, learn better, connect wider, aura to aura with healing-minded, aligned peers devoted to inner development and to no longer hiding their light. Expect inspiring speakers, transformative practices, guided meditation, sound healing, gifted practitioners of several modalities, unique vendors, high vibe food and music, real community, and gentle biohacking, all curated for real life application in a beautiful setting in Laguna Woods, California. This isn't just change, it's evolution. Unlimited value, but there are limited seats available for this intimate weekend journey, December 5th through 7th. Leave with tools, allies, grounded next steps, and start your next chapter with empowered grace. Secure your spot and join us.
Everyone. So what we're going to do today is we are talking the best topic that there is that we could have Lauren talk on. Okay, because she is the master of human design and psychic gifts. In my opinion, she's powered psychic gifts, like powered psychic gifts. So I want her to tell you a little bit about herself and tell us a little about your background, how you found your psychic gifts, and a little bit about your animal communication and anything.
Okay, so I hope everyone can hear me. Let me know if you can't. Anyway, I'm Lauren K. Wyatt, and Raquel just gave me such a generous introduction. Master psychic and master human design guide. I don't know about that, but I love it. And here's a little bit of information on me. Like many of you who are watching the video, I am a highly sensitive person. I'm naturally intuitive. And the experience that I had growing up was I would I would just see things. And by things, I mean like angels and auras and colors and spirits and ghosts and fairies. And I kept it under wraps because, well, I didn't want to be different. And I had a feeling that maybe the way that I saw things wasn't the way that other people saw things. And I grew up in a home that was pretty religious. I grew up Catholic, and I did not want to have to go to the priest. So what I did was I did have a tarot deck when I was in my teens, and I had my witchy books, and I talked to my cats, and I would see spirits, and I just kind of had this little moment
You're
with
not showing the
myself.
video right now. It's not. Sorry.
It's okay. Raquel and I are doing this when Mercury's in retrograde, so we're having like some fun tech issues, and we appreciate all of you dancing with us in this. What ended up happening is I really tried to kind of do the things that I was supposed to do. Like I went to college, I graduated. This was like over 20 years ago, by the way. And everything in my life when I was in my mid 20s, it just kind of imploded, and everything that I thought I was working toward, it was shut down. And of course, this brought on the first spiritual awakening that put me in touch with my gifts again, and I got to just remember who I was and these talents that I always had. And thankfully, I had a very patient spiritual teacher who ended up attuning me to Reiki as time went on, and I ended up being able to heal myself, and my gifts began to open more and more. And I've been a professional psychic for 13 years or more. Not really sure. Like, what is time these days? And in the last, like, what is it? Like the last 5.5 years, like 2020, I I met Raquel. I found her online, like many of us did. And I was going through another awakening. I made some really weird choices, thinking I was following my intuition, and it was spirit, but it didn't align with my inner authority. And it was also kind of perfect because it put me in the best situation that I could possibly be in to receive the practical wisdom of human design about strategy and inner authority. And once I did that, that I tell you is when my psychic gifts really began to just come online. I realigned my business. I moved it away from coaching and coaching industry. I followed my inner authority into what was more authentic. And those psychic gifts just popped. And Raquel has been a huge, my boy. My dog is supporting the call right now. I don't know if you all heard him. Um so I think that's my cue to stop talking, Raquel.
Awesome. Awesome. So I love Lauren's story, and I love when she turned on her sacral and was able to really find her way in the coaching industry and find her way in her business, and allowed her business to be more representative of her spiritual gifts, her uniqueness, and really let her inner authority call where she was and what she was going to do, rather than having a coach do a cookie cutter model, pushing their agenda and forcing people to do things that are uncomfortable for them. That is my story too. And as I was coming out of my corporate career, as many of you may or may not know my story, but I found human design as I was trying to shift careers. And I've always been on a deep spiritual journey, but this spiritual awareness, getting my master's in spiritual psychology, learning about Reiki, energy work, all the spiritual tools did not help me on the grounded, practical 3D world. It actually kicked me into all these other vibrations, and I had so many experiences and so many amazing, beautiful things happening, but I couldn't practically live a life that felt right for me. And I would kind of push my spiritual stuff down so that I could, make some money and be grounded. Like many of you, we usually do attract people who are spiritual and are trying to create a life that's really unique for them and for their gifts. And so I've loved watching Lauren's career unfold, and just the expansion and the success, and coming at it from the place of just once she embodied her human design, everything just popped. And it was the same for me. Once I learned I was a splenic projector, I could really navigate my life accordingly, because I, as a projector, was just absorbing the generator fuel, thinking I'm a manifesting generator because I undefined throat, and just attacking life, like going after everything that I thought I was being downloaded with, and having these downloads and visions and then going after them. and making things happen, but like really in dramatic, negative, chaotic ways. So I feel an incredible mission to help people with their human design and to help people to create a life that really represents their truth, because it creates so much joy, so much satisfaction. And I also usually attract people that have incredible psychic gifts. And what we've done, and this kind of unfolded in the Manifestation by Design courses, is I started to notice the alignment of the human design chart with the clairvoyant gifts. And this comes, and a lot of people were asking this in the Facebook group. And by the way, if you guys are here live, please let us know in the chat. We're trying to follow the chat. Please let us know if you are here live and you want us to look at your chart. I know a lot of you did post your charts, and we have a couple here that we're going to look at in just a minute. Okay, good. I'm seeing a couple charts. So I don't, sorry, not charts. I see a couple people.
Okay,
So
awesome. I'm still like, I don't even know where to find this on Facebook.
a
I'm
couple people were asking about where to find it, and I think people are still trying to find it. So what we did, we have I see Candace made it, Lucille made it, Mariana, hi. And you know what? Davidian, if you're watching, maybe he could also share on your Facebook.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, I
So
would love
Davidian,
that.
if you could share on Lauren's Facebook, and if any of you are here live and you know people who are psychic, who are spiritual, that you feel could benefit from this as well, tag them or share it with them, and everyone will start to find it. It's right now we have it streaming from my Facebook page and from the group. So hopefully, if any of you can share it also on Lauren's page, if Davidian's there, and hopefully people will start to find it.
Is it on
So
your Facebook business page or your personal
it's
page?
my Facebook business page is what
Okay,
it's
let
streaming.
me, because I'm,
That's so if
yeah.
those of you who did find it, we're on Raquel, Reyna, and then hopefully everyone will start to find us. And thank you guys for tagging and for sharing. We really, really appreciate it. So we're gonna look at a couple charts. But I want to give you guys a little foundation, because this is what I was seeing as far as the questions in the Facebook group. And before I go into that, and I'm going to show some slides too, I do want to let you all know something. We were going to start with Davidian's commercial for Awake Shift, and for whatever reason, the media didn't play because it's Mercury retrograde and all that stuff always happens. So I do want to do a quick plug why we are doing this video in the first place, and what Lauren and I and Davidian, who is a part of my business, my husband, what we're building here is the energy buildup for a live event in Orange County called Awake Shift. It's the annual Southern California Spiritualized Human Design Conference. It's going to be live. It's a 3-day weekend. It is going to be so profoundly magical. And what Lauren really inspired this because of our event in Tulum. And she's like, I feel like we need another event. And I feel like I'm going to be a guide for all the projectors. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Like I need to be a guide and support for all the projectors who are, having a hard time at events. So the seed was planted when we did our retreat in Tulum, and we had such a magical time. And coming together in person is so important. Especially, I think people are finally healing from the lockdown and from the isolation, and everything became online. And now there's healing that can take place when we are in person and we unplug from the phones, we unplug from the computers, and we give ourselves time to break the pattern of routine, of our work life. We break the pattern so that we can ignite a future vision, bring forward new energy. This space we're going to be at is a beautiful center, healing center in Orange County where there's biohacking. It's a space where a lot of people have spiritual awakenings, and the people that are going to be there are so beautiful. And I, first of all, cannot wait to see all of you who are showing up live. I see Candace is here. We can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see Lauren. And all of you who are thinking about it, feel free to reach out to Lauren or I if you have any questions. So I just want to
I
put that out there.
want to say something fun about the event. But
Please.
first, I also asked, I sent Candace, in case anyone noticed how I was like fumbling with the computer, I sent Candace a text and I was like, can you tag me so that I at least know where the event is? The online event that we're doing. So anyway, about the Awake Shift event, I totally remember that conversation, Raquel. Um, because I remember I was concerned that you were up so early when I knew that you were nocturnal. It's like, why? And we were just talking of this. I know that projectors don't need me to guide them or anything. It's more like hold space and understand the different aura type. And that's a big part of this event is it really takes all of these different kinds of needs into consideration because it's like your aura type, your astrology, supporting your body in another way because there's like biohacking and all these really like amazing practitioners who are at this center as well. So this is going to be a very healing event for, I mean, it's mind, body, soul. So
Yeah. And if you guys are out of town and you want support in traveling and travel arrangements, just email us. This was something Lauren with her 5027 we were talking about today. And just like people need just a little more nurture on how to get there and support. And sometimes travel is hard for people, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it to do these types of experiences. And every time I've made a catalytic change in my career, it's because I stopped and did a retreat and went inside, meditated, got a new vision, and created something new. So you're going to be held. It's going to be a very beautiful, sweet environment and really sacred, very spiritual, really generous, and just a really sacred space. So that's our invitation for you guys. So let's get into the content for today. I was panicking because I couldn't figure out where it was either. Okay, good. You made it. Yay, 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 yay. Okay. So I think people are starting to find it. Hi, Erin. Yay. Hi, Mariana. Okay, good, good, good. Let us know where you're tuning in from too. So we can feel the vibe all over.
yes, I love this.
Southern California, like you have no excuse. You have to be there, you know? Okay, so let's talk about this. I was mid-sentence about the clairvoyant gifts in the chart. So let me go back. I'm good at having a multidimensional conversation where I'm mid-sentence, have an entire new conversation, and then jump back to it. So I love multidimensional conversations. I'm nonlinear. So, you know, we're moving into a space of nonlinear. So
Here we are.
The clairvoyant gifts, from what I've seen, they're seen in a couple different places in your chart. I look beneath the surface and beneath the line into the tone. So the tone is found in the motivation. So if you guys have seen motivation, that's where the tone is represented. So it's also it's actually in all the four radical transformations. You have base, tone, color, and the tone turns on when you live correctly based on your nutrition, based on your environment, and you start turning on that higher level of superpower. Okay, so you can see those through the channels in the chart based on tone. And then the other thing we're looking at is the claircognizance, which I feel is from the instantaneous knowing, which is from all individual circuitry. So in the same way that logic comes from all of the collective logic circuitry. That's where the logic is held. And FYI, we're moving away from logic and into the claircognizance as a theme of the new era, the instantaneous knowing. And so claircognizance to me is the theme of the new era. That is the place where if you have individuality, you're already familiar with, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Boom. Oh my God. I know, I know. I don't know how I know. I can't prove it. It's not logical, but I know. So can you imagine a whole world where that's the way in which we're going to be living? Like that is the way of the future. So like give me a cheers, give me a woohoo.
Cheers and woohoo.
So
I
Lauren,
love that.
it's so cool, right? It's
It
so
really
cool.
is.
What do you think some of the biggest blocks are with people, like given looking at their human design chart, blocks that they might have that keep them from really being able to embody their psychic gifts?
Well, so it's kind of funny because and I'm saying this as someone who has a very open chart. I only have two centers defined. And what I see is that with the openness, like it can allow us to really tap in and feel a situation, feel the energy around it, feel the other person. But if we're not connected to ourselves and what's true for us and what's best to us, get we can get confused, or we're like reading somebody else's intuition or someone else's energy. Like for those of us who have those open solar plexus, there's an incredible opportunity to have that emotional awareness and that feeling. However, if you don't have a defined solar plexus, it's best to not make your decisions on how you feel. Um, so so some of the blocks with that are really learning to discern how to use your intuition, because something could be intuitive and it could be true, but it may not be yours to take action on, or like sometimes we can mistake a fear or anxiety that we have because we've met our edge on something, and it may not be a completely clean intuitive hit, but what that does is it shows you where you're at. So there's a lot of juggling and discernment that goes into this, and understanding how to work with your gifts.
Yeah, and this is why I love human design so much. This helped me so immensely. Like what is for you and what is for other people.
Mhm.
So human design, you have your inner authority, but you have an outer authority too. The outer authority is what is for other people. And so you may have psychic hits for someone else that you're not supposed to act on, like Lauren just said. And so when you really get clear on what your inner authority is, that's your decision making process, that's your inner knowing. So for a projector, for me, I have the hanging gate 57. I get psychic hits all the time. I get downloads, I have guides that come through, and I really used to act out all of the downloads and all of my psychic hits. And as a projector, once you learn that you can get a ton of psychic hits but not to act on them, and to really wait for the invitation, wait for recognition, that will save your life. I mean, I honestly believe that human design saved my life. I was so burnt out, I was so frazzled, and I had no idea not to take action on your intuitive downloads. Like, there's
Mm.
not a single other spiritual teaching that confirms that.
Right. And for me, I had a hard time listening to myself, because I would just like, I have a highly psychic chart. I'm a highly psychic person. And I would just know something right away, have the whole download, but then because of my lack of self-confidence, my karma, my conditioning, I would let other people get in my head, and I would kind of do what they thought was best or follow the logic. And I found myself in this pattern of I really wish that I trusted myself. That was tough because it was also dealing with this emotional issue and this relationship issue too. So it can go in all these different ways, that until we learn how to really funnel it, it can get really confusing and cause us some drama, which I think sometimes we need to go through to understand how our gifts work and what's best for us.
Yeah, you make such a great point. We're so deeply conditioned by logic. Logic is one of the deepest conditioning elements on the planet from the cross of planning. And we all were told that life should be led through logic, through thinking about things, thinking them through. Oh, that's a good idea. No, that's not a good idea, whatever. And the conditioning of logic is so important, is so intense. And we don't have any logic channels. You don't, I don't.
Mm-mm.
And so if you have no logic, you're just so deeply conditioned by it. And it's like an unraveling of all of that conditioning. And then what's going to happen in the next, decade is the exact opposite. So everybody who has logic is going to have to now unravel and figure out what is instantaneous knowing.
Wow. Like I'm letting what you just shared sink in about being deeply conditioned by logic and how human design speaks to that, and how we're moving away from that, and people who are gifted in logic are really going to have to find like a new kind of logic to support their inner knowing, and that's going to be magnificent to watch.
It's going to be a process, and we're going to have a lot of confusion because already the confusion is here, like fake news. No one knows what's true. How do you know what's true unless you can trust your own inner knowing? Your logic will not be able to get you through, although it's not like logic is going to be completely gone. We're still going to need it, but it's not going to help you figure out what is true and what is necessarily the right thing for you. It won't work.
It won't. And that, and we are seeing it happen now. And just if this can give you some peace on maybe why things are so cuckoo right now, I don't know. This always gives me peace because it gives me a reframe on, okay, we're in this transition of having collectively done something one way for 400 years, and now we're going into this claircognizance. It's going to be a transition for us as individuals and collectively.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's so true. It's so interesting. So, hey, Chris, I'm glad you made it. All right, so I'm going to pull up a slide. Why don't you guys who are listening live and those of you listening to the replay, let us know in the comments what clairvoyant gifts do you resonate with the most? What clairvoyant gifts do you resonate with the most? And I'm going to pull up a crazy slide. I'm first going to show you list all of the clairs because you may or may not know them all. And then I'm going to show you a crazy human design chart, or a crazy human design thing you're going to love, because if you're like me, you love crazy human design things. And let's see if I can get this share right. I'm scared.
well, we got it. I have all sorts of questions I want to ask you, Raquel. So, oh,
I
but
did it.
yay, you did it.
All right. Can you all see the slide?
I can see it, but I'm on video with you. So,
So let us know in the chats if you can see the slide and which clairvoyant gift you resonate with the most. So we have clairvoyance, clairaudience, which is like when you're hearing. It's the clairsentience, which is the feeling. That's mine. Clairtendency, which is touch, and then the clear cognizance, which is the instantaneous knowing. That's the one that we just talked about. I think the instantaneous knowing is, really going to be important. The theme of the new era. I like gusticence, which is the tasting. And then you have the olfactance, which is the other one that I have, which is smell. And then which ones do you relate to,
Me?
Lauren?
So I do have a lot of clairvoyance. I can kind of see how it comes up in my chart. Um, but that's all I've always been able to see. And clairaudience, definitely. Like that just always, it's like I get a piece of information that guides me to something else or whole sentences, channeling. Um, and yeah, the feeling one is probably like that's just such a huge one. It's that instant feeling that goes in and then just the knowing. I love it when I love the instant knowing and things because that is to me that just feels very confident and good. And the other gifts are helpful and beautiful. But that one's always like, okay, like it's like this whole thing in the body. So,
Yes, exactly. So we're getting some comments.
ooh,
So you guys can see the slides. Yay. Okay, so Claire Sentience is Marina, Claire Audience, Stephanie, um, Candace, the Voyance Audience, Tangency, Cognizance, and Olfactance. So interesting. Claire Cognizance. Okay, so now here's the interesting thing, you guys. I'm gonna show you this crazy chart. You may or may not have seen this slide before, and don't let it scare you because it's really intense to look at. Normally, I break this down like over a 3-month period in my classes. So don't
oh,
worry if it looks like I can't understand that. Okay. So we're going to kind of break it down. And oh, by the way, the one thing that isn't on this chart is the most psychic gate, which is so the most psychic gate in all of human design is this gate 50. Oh, I did put it on there. The gate 57, which is the most psychic gate. You can see it here, this little arrow. That's where the gate 57 is.
mhm.
So many of you who posted in the Facebook group had like the 5710 or the 5720. The 57 to the 34 is Lauren's. And she also has the 5027. Those are her two channels. I hope you don't mind me saying. But it
No,
was
great.
really, really powerful today, Lauren, because I felt that today when we were talking about the event. And you had such a beautiful, because the 5027 is so, it has this such deep nurture and such deep caring. And it's also a huge WA CEO channel, which, by the way, those of you in the level 4 we're about to go into, and it's so life changing, isn't it? When you
Yeah.
got that channel.
Yeah. I love the gate. I love that channel and it did come up today as I was like, this event is so amazing. I just think that people really need to like feel cared for and kind of know where they're going and you know, the I also have a Cancer moon. So I'm like, I'll take care of people and just kind of let you know where you're going to be, but I feel so much that this awake shift event's going to be so spiritually nourishing. And again, lots of things for the body and the mind at this event. I'm personally really happy that we're going to be doing this at the end of the year because this year has been wild and powerful on I'm seeing it with so many different individuals. I'm seeing it collectively, and I love kind of ending this calendar year with this event so that we can all be nourished and connect and yeah, so
Yeah, and so that is her psychic power with her 5027, the nourishment. And I felt it so much today. I was like, oh, I needed that. It was so beautiful. So one thing I do have to say, if you guys are watching or you're watching the replay, so when you see these channels, if you don't have them, and let's say you don't have the 6447, for example. So starting up at the top, this is the clairvoyance channel. So if you don't have that channel, it doesn't mean that you're not clairvoyant. It shows up in a lot of different ways, and it shows up in this stream of inner vision, which is the tone. So like I said, this is a little bit complicated because it's the streams of the tone, and I don't want this to throw any of you off, because I don't want you to get confused. It's not here to throw you off. It's really just to kind of give you a map of a little bit of a map of sorry, I'm doing too many things at once. A little bit of a map to give you something to kind of go off of for the chart and your gifts. Okay, so you can see how the streams are linked to the clairvoyance, the clairolfactance here. This is the smell, and we have the touch, which is the 4037 and the 1949. I know Lucille has that one. I don't know if you relate to that, Lucille. And then we have the outer vision, which is a little bit the outer vision doesn't necessarily show up as a clairvoyant gift, in my opinion. And then the clair sentience, which is the feeling, and then the cognizance, which is the instantaneous knowing, is also not on here. That is the individual circuitry of knowing, instantaneous knowing. That's where that comes from. So I'm just going to pop a little slide of the showing the knowing. So everything highlighted here, all of these are your instantaneous knowing channels, because this is the individuality. So, and again, it's not to say that you don't have any of the other gifts. We all have everything in the chart. So one of the things that human design does, though, is it helps you know what can you rely on and what can't you rely on. So because I have the feeling, which is my tone, and I'm splenic, when I don't know what my spleen is gathering, then I move into this feeling, which is basically when I walk into a room, I get sort of an instant like feelings in my body. Also, my guides communicate through the feeling. They shift the feeling in my body, and I know that because the body has shifted, I can feel it more powerfully than I can feel the information more powerfully.
Wow. I'm feeling into what you're sharing, and I'm looking at this amazing
Crazy chart.
slide. I know, I'm just like, wow. And I have, to your point, I've seen other people's charts who maybe don't have these different markers in it, and they're still like really intuitive people, because the gifts are going to come out the way they're going to come out. This is just a really good marker and a way for us to to just tune in and maybe see things just out just see things just out there, so we can compare it to our charts. But everyone definitely has spiritual gifts, especially with those open centers, I think.
I
And
absolutely
yeah,
agree. So the
all of those gifts.
absolutely the open centers are where you're going to have your wisdom, but also where you have, the conditioning. And so those sometimes are hard. And the reason I break it down like this is just through the years of me noticing it in my own chart and
Mhm.
noticing where I was so thrown off with all of my spiritual development and how the shift happened when I was able to really use my human design chart. It didn't, my gifts stayed the same, but it was more about what I acted on and what I didn't act on, and what I could use to help others and what I could use to help myself. That was the primary shift. Is like, because the gifts are going to come through all your openness, but sometimes that doesn't mean that you want to take action on those, um on that gift.
Can I ask you, since you're a projector and you're highly intuitive, and you said your gifts didn't change, but you got to see what was for you and what wasn't. Um, how did how do you know as a splenic projector which hits are yours and which hits are for someone else?
Yeah, that's such a great question, and I think that was like one of the primary questions we got in the Facebook group
Oh.
for people. So it's such a great question. So I know now that whatever information I get, so whatever information I get when I'm alone and I'm meditating and I'm feeling into the download, I'm feeling into the frequency. Of course, there's sometimes simple information like, um, you know, sometimes I'll get things about how to take care of my body, how to do more self-care, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But when it comes to life decisions and taking action, the main thing that I realized, and like this is a duh moment after you know human design, but when you don't know human design, it like you're just crazy, is following my strategy. Because I do, no matter what hits I get, you should start this business, you should do this, you should do all of these ideas and visions and things that come through. The real gift now as a projector is to wait, is to really wait and wait until people start recognizing you and start calling it out of you.
Wow. And in that waiting period, do you find that your guides support you with the feeling, since that's your tone?
Yeah, and I think the main thing my guides are really come through on is the preparation. What do you need to clear? What do you need to heal? What more deeply do you need to self-care? How more deeply can you self-care? Because I think that the self-care, especially for a projector, is what you need in order to make anything happen.
I love that. Something else came in as you talked, because I have a lot of clients who, like, they are intuitive and they want to connect with their gifts more, as all of us do. And a lot of them have that emotional inner authority, so that defined solar plexus, and working with them about when to take action on something, and really encouraging them to feel their feelings, because that is going to make their intuition better, instead of just going into logic or what, even if they're a generator and it's a gut decision. But so could you, because I know Davidian, your partner, has a defined solar plexus and he's sensitive and intuitive, and he's not here. I would ask him. Um, what do you see with that dynamic of the emotional being and their gifts?
Well, it's kind of a similar thing in that he will get a lot of downloads and he gets a lot of wisdom for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the action for him is a lot of waiting and feeling and riding out the emotional wave and slowing down. It's funny because he's a generator, but I'm much faster than him because it takes time he has a split also. So it takes time for him to process information and to ride the wave. So these are things that are so hard to understand if you don't have a shared language, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Have a shared language, it really helps to kind of see where somebody needs to act quickly, where they need to slow down before they take action. And the primary thing for me is about your own life and your own decision making based on your big major work choices or moves or things like this. People just have a hard time making decisions when they're using their psychic gifts to make any kind of big life move or start a business or anything like that. So I think, that's a big distinction. So for him, it's the waiting period. And I want to throw the question back to you if you don't mind. I'd love to pull up your chart and
Sure.
like kind of, and also I promised everybody in the group that we would pull up a chart, at least one or two, and I have a couple here.
Yay.
Let's start with yours. So let me see if I can get your chart up here. And I would love for you to answer the same question, like based on your chart, how did you find your gifts and how do you know what's for other people? Because you're actually professional psychic. That's what you do. So how does
Mhm.
that come through for you? I'd love for your hit on that. So let me pull up your chart, or you can start sharing now and then we'll pull.
Sure. So for me, everything is about intention. So if I'm like in a session with somebody, or I'm doing an animal communication session or with a human, I have the space set up so that I know um what, not exactly that I know the information that I'm looking for, but that I'm tuning in on behalf of this other being that I'm working with and getting the assistance to do that. So having that intention allows me to advise people, not necessarily tell them what to do, but I can use my psychic gifts to look into outcomes, to talk to animals, to get support, but collaborating with the client as well on their inner authority. How it comes up for me around making decisions is like, Raquel, you actually, like, when you first became my human design teacher, and I was so conditioned to just go go go, like be a go-getter, like I have this idea, this great idea, and I'm going to make it happen. Like that was how I operated. And I asked Raquel, like, what do I do if I know what to do? Like, but like, I know what to do, but how do I kind of time it with myself? And what I've seen is that a lot of times if we just make decisions based on a psychic hit, or we make decisions based on like some idea that sounds good or feels good, either way, they're not grounded. Like, these are not grounded decisions, and our body helps us ground that, and our inner authority, whatever it is, even if you're a mental projector or a self-projected projector and you get to talk things through, that conversation will activate what you need to know in your body. And the whole thing about, even if I get a hit, Raquel said, so you get this download, just be with it. Like, be with it. Don't resist the need to take action on it right away. Be with it. And as a generator, I let my aura pull in everything I need to know about the timing of it. So I get the synchronicities, the external sign that happens, and then I'll feel it in my gut right away. The on if it's time to do that. So that was a game changer for me, and I noticed how much more grounded I felt in my body. And that really helped me to tune in to, is there so much just because something is psychic doesn't mean it's for you, is you also don't know like which plane that's coming from, or like there's so many things to decipher, and there's so many tools that help you do this, and human design just helps I think with the divine timing and discerning how this information is best utilized, especially for that intention that you have on sharing the information or acting on it.
Yeah, I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. So let's look at her chart though, just for a minute, because I was asking which hanging gate she had off of her head. So, when you have, and the other thing we talked about in the Facebook group was what blocks your intuition and your psychic gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like her potential blocks with the undefined head, and she has confusion, doubt, as well as the constant need to know why.
Oh
So these,
gosh, that's my
right? So
life.
I have two out of the three. So yeah. And so the pressure to overthink, right? The pressure to overthink. And so
Mm-hmm.
she cannot get these. And then, but look at this, you guys. I told you she had supersonic psychic. She has this 5734 both in the black and the red. She's aware, and it's like this subconscious. So it's like there's so much power. The 34 is this gate of power. So there's so much power here in her psychic. But if she at all moves into the head or the logic or the doubt, then this doesn't come in.
It is a thing. My incarnation cross, so that personality sun, it's one of the gates in the head, the gate of doubt. Like, yes, it can lead to truth and these amazing breakthroughs, as can that the gate 64, that I also have as well. And that's also a part of my incarnation cross. Like these amazing clairvoyant gifts can come through, but I really need to make sure I'm tuned into the right channel, that I'm connected to my inner authority, that I'm taking care of myself, because I know that when I'm in doubt and confusion, that I call it junior. That's what I call the not self or our ego. Like I know Junior has taken over and is making everything like super exciting and distracting me from the ultimate truth, which comes from those two centers that you see right there.
Yep.
Can
So
I just like
yes.
quick little story. When you and I were in Colorado and we were
Yes.
going out to eat. So this is not a high stakes decision. And we're like, well, where do we go? There are tons of restaurants in the area we were. And Raquel's like, let's just follow the psychic sacral. And I was like, okay. So it's like, are we gonna go forward? Uh-huh. And so my mind was like, why aren't you going over there? Like this looks inviting over here, but we just decided to follow the and we ended up at the cutest little cafe, and it was like so magical. And that's just an example of how fun it is to practice when the stakes aren't very high at all. So
And as a projector, it's just so much fun to be with a sacral generator, because it's like they can just invite you along for the ride. The best. And I mean, talk about psychic hits. You had like the full on psychic wisdom for that uh while we were at that cafe. Do you remember?
oh
So,
yeah,
oh, it's so
I
powerful.
do. We can just be in that moment.
Exactly. But the point is, I think
Yeah.
also is like all of these times when we shared these events and we've shared these like in-person experiences, it's just created these huge bonds as well as breakthroughs and experiences that we were able to have together. And so just another
So
plug
much.
coming to be
I mean, we have to, is it's going to be amazing. And if your intuition and your inner authority guides you to be with us in person, and like there are some amazing speakers at the event, but more than that, it's all of the participants and everyone's unique energetic contribution to this incredible space. And even though it's Mercury retrograde right now, um, and we had some issues, I had issues getting the correct link out for this event. We will make sure that you're taken care of and you have everything that you need to attend the event. So if like tune in, and we would love to spend time with you.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or if you want more information, just type in the chat if you're curious, you want to hear more, and you're listening to the replay or you're here live, just let us know. Just say
And
we're
no
there.
pressure, because sometimes we
No
need more
pressure.
information to just see if it's for us or not. And how do you know if you don't ask?
Exactly. Exactly. And so let's pull up. Okay. So two people that are here live. I'm gonna start with
I'm so excited about this. I love looking at people's charts.
yes. So I first of all want to thank everybody for being here live. I want to thank everybody who put their chart up in the group. I have gone through a lot of people's clairvoyant gifts, even if we're not going to do your chart here today in the Facebook group. If we don't do your chart, I said we'd be doing like between 1 and 3. We may do 2. If we don't choose your chart, um, tag me or place your chart in the group, and I will go through, and over the next couple of days I'm going to be downloading some more information for you guys there too.
So amazing. That's so generous, Raquel.
It's so much fun. I love it so much. Like I'm in this space of just incredible love for my work right now. I'm just so incredibly grateful that this is what I do. Sometimes I'm tired and sometimes I'm like, I love this more than life. Like I'm just in the love of it. So, all right, let's start with this. So, why don't you start? And, whatever comes through for you in anything that you see, we had so much fun doing this, by the way. Lauren and I have been doing this. We did this for my whole book launch. It was just the most fun, and I love it so much. So,
Me too.
whatever hits you get.
Okay, so I think I know who this chart belongs to, and just like heart hug to this person. Um so this wasn't a channel that was on that amazing slide that you sent out, but I'm noticing that a lot of folks with that 4323, so what looks like the third eye to the throat, I'm noticing, I mean, yes, it's a freak to genius channel. There's a genius, but there's a way to really tap into that I've noticed. So I don't know what human design has to say. This is my personal intuitive hit about this, is that there's a way to really tune into different outcomes that are possible, and to really see like the vision behind something, and to get some, like, to really connect with a good channel for, like, if you're inquiring about a certain event or a certain situation. I think it's a type of clairvoyance as well. um just, it's like this way of seeing something that not everyone else is going to see. And then, of course, I see that she has the 1949, which is one of my favorite channels. It is such an intense channel. Um, this feels so much to me like someone who is so sensitive and who can just walk in different worlds. And of course, we know that this shows gifts with animals, like really feeling the animals, communicating with them. And I know that this person has a very strong bond with animals as well. And they're so, and like that open head, like that's going to make her incredibly psychic, but she's going to really need to understand like what channel she's tapping into, if it's like Junior's station or what she really needs to pay attention to. So Raquel, what do you see? I just had a big blah on that.
Yeah, I love, and I know, and I don't think she minds us saying who it is because she asked us to use her chart. So this is Lucille. She's an
Okay.
emotional projector. She doesn't mind, I don't think. So a couple of things. So I'm gonna, so of the clairvoyant gifts from the crazy slide that I showed you, this 1949 also represents the clear touch. So like really being able to be touched by animals, touched by the angels, or even literally practicing holding someone's objects and being able to sense what you get from someone's objects. Like that's the idea of the clairvoyant touch. So it would be fun for you to kind of experiment with that, Lucille. If it's unconscious for you, it might be something that turns on. I know she absolutely has the connection with the animals and the sensitivity, deep sensitivity. And then the other thing that came to me when you were talking was what I've also been noticing is when you have one of these hanging gates looking towards the 57. So like if you have one of these, which would be if you have a hanging gate 10, hanging gate 20, or hanging gate 34. I've noticed that oftentimes what that does, it's pull in interesting psychic information based on neutrino streams and the people that you're around. So me and Davidian have this with, he has the 3410, but I have the 57. So I pull in a lot of his psychic gifts. As a matter of fact, if we didn't know our human design, we would think for sure he was the psychic, because when he's with me, he's just incredibly psychic. And it takes me a while to kind of get my psychic is so subtle and so soft that it's harder for me to find it. So I've noticed that these people with the hanging gates, they can be really tuned in and turned on when those gates get directed and turned on through neutrino streams or people around. So my guess is that she has a lot of that psychic awareness depending on who she's with.
And that fits in beautifully with how she has a split too. So she may need to take, and she has the defined solar plexus at emotional and her authority. So she gets a hit, especially if it's for her own life. And she's going to really need to be with it and take time and pull in that energy from her environment and the people in her environment, as she sees if it's the correct decision for her or not.
I love that so much. And what I also love about these charts is these themes, so you can see something in one area and then, yeah, the split, just like it shows us that that's going to be a huge theme for her, that other people make a difference in how she's reacting and how her chart moves. And so I love that insight. It was so beautiful. And I lost the live stream, but Lucille, please let us know if that resonates with you. I'm going to try my best to go back to the live stream really quickly and see if I can see any comments. Let us know if that resonates with you, Lucille, and any comments you have, any questions you might have. And so hold on, I'm going to look and see if there are any questions that come up. I just saw one pop up.
Oh,
So
good.
go ahead and put your comments, your questions in the chats if you guys would like to. So by the way, Erin said this information is amazing. Thank you,
Oh,
Erin.
good. Yay, Erin.
Yay. Okay, so Chloe says, do you have to have a full channel to have these gifts, or how would they show up with the hanging gates? That is a really good question. So they show up in the gates for me. Candace says, yeah, I do. I do think they show up in the gates. And yet I think that the channels have a bigger impact and a lot more power. And sometimes the gates can be act as not self themes because of what we just talked about with Lucille. It can be a positive or a negative. So when you're getting your psychic hits based on maybe the neutrino streams or other people around you, sometimes it can be confusing because it's inconsistent. So sometimes those hanging gates can be inconsistent. But like, so if any of these, like, so for example, this 11 here is the clairvoyance. So she probably has a lot of clairvoyance. And again, Lauren really talked about that 4323 because that really does come in with psychic knowing as well. And so those two probably work together because it's the clairvoyance and because she has a full channel here. My experience with the channel is that they have just a little bit more impact, but the hanging gate for sure is going to influence, and for sure she probably relates to that clairvoyance.
Wow. I'm also seeing that her moon is in gate 11 as well, and that's a great intuitive marker as well, and how the information comes in through these ideas that she'll have or she'll receive. And I also see that she has that 21, and I'm remembering from the chart that you gave about how that has to do with just like an instinct. Was that what was on the chart?
The chart that we just did.
The really fun slide that you created, it had the
The instinct,
4521
yes.
channel, and a
So
psychic that I really love has that channel. And so and I noticed Lucille had the gate 21. So,
yes, so and she also has the 4426. So those two
hmm.
work together, the 4426 and the 2145 in the instinct. And oftentimes that's like, the 4426 is when you ask people about if you can smell a rat, right? Because it relates to the olfactants, to the smell.
Love
So she has two hanging gates there. So I don't know, Lucille, do you relate to that psychic gift? And also I think sometimes, and you guys can let us know if the channel in your psychic gifts has more impact than the hanging gate.
This is so fascinating to me. Like, I'm in this conversation with you, and I'm just like, I love this information. I'm
So
seeing
she
what
has
everyone has to say.
smell in her tone also. She has
Okay.
smell in her environment, in the tone.
Oh,
So
okay.
she has smell there, and then she has these two hanging gates, which would be smell. So you can let us know, Lucille, if you relate to that. And also, Lauren, when you're talking about the moon, the 11, so that is another theme because the moon is like the emotions, right? And she's
Hmm.
an emotional projector. So she has the clairvoyance in the moon, which is in the emotional. So
Whoa.
that is another interesting theme which runs through her experience in her chart. So I love that you saw that.
She really needs, all emotional beings need to feel their feelings, but especially for Lucille and how she accesses her intuition, is she needs to feel through what she sees.
I love that. That's exactly it. You need to feel through what you see. Really true. Really well said. I love that. Should we pull up one more chart?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, chart number 2. Give me a drum roll in the chat, please.
I'm like, do 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 do. That's
All right. Chart number 2.
ooh. Ooh. Well, this gate 57 that we've been talking about, that super psychic gate, is very connected to that 34 and to that 10. Yeah, this is a highly intuitive person, and I know whose chart this is. So happy to look at her chart. Um, Self-love is so important for this person, and I'm saying this because of how she has the gate 10 in her G center and how that connects with that gate 57. Her intuition may feel like really vulnerable for her sometimes, or like the psychic hits that she has, since it is connected to that sense of self and to that 10. But it also empowers her with that connection to the 34 as well. Um, and I'm just seeing how important love is, for like that's self-love, especially, and the love for her body. I know we didn't go over like these different gates in the G center, but this person really needs to be anchored in love to fully feel those psychic gifts, because if she's not, like, she's gonna be like in Junior's fear land. As we see from the undefined head and Ajna, and then she has that clairvoyance and in the 11 happening. So really important that she stays grounded and anchored in love, because that's going to assist everything. And then with that 5432 on there, I remember that came up as well in that crazy slide that you gave. And I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that, Raquel.
Well, that one, I miss, so that one, those three are the olfactant. Sorry. The
Okay.
5432 runs through the 4426 up to the 2145. Those are all the
Neat.
clear
Okay.
olfactants. So the smell. So I don't know if you relate to that one, Candace, because I know when you listed all of your gifts, there are a lot. But oftentimes I think that the 57, even with the consistency, even going with the sacral, people that have all this action going on with the 57. So for those of you who don't know, it's this part here in the chart that we showed on Lauren's as well. I do think that they've noticed psychic gifts in almost maybe I wouldn't say every Claire, but a lot of different Claires, because it is the most psychic gate in human design. The psychic power is going to come up in a lot of different ways. And then you also have the so for those of you who do know human design and you're very advanced in this stuff, I'm just going to give you a quick, you guys know I love breaking down the charts. I'm going to give you this quick tutorial on tone, because you can see it here. And I was telling you that this is where the streams come from, with tone. So what you have is you have the line number. So this is the 15-3. And so the next one here is the color. And then that's where, wait a minute, what am I saying? That's where the tone comes in, is based on the color. So wait, I'm saying this wrong. Base tone color. So I'm sorry, you guys. Let me say this again. Base tone color line. Okay, sorry if I just confused everybody on the recording.
It's
Base
Mercury retrograde.
color
We're
line.
dancing. It's all good.
All right, base tone color line. So the color is when people talk about what your diet is or what your environment is, okay? The tone is what turns on when you're living correctly as your unique self. So, with all of that said, her superpower here in the tone that doesn't necessarily show up in the streams, but is feeling. Okay, so it's feeling. This one is also feeling here, this gate 41. So the feeling, my guess, is also a big part of supersonic power for Candace. This is Candace's chart. So Lauren, also the reason I was laughing so hard when you were doing your reading is because I know for a fact we just went over her incarnation cross, and that was basically the entire theme of the cross was like self-love. It's
Oh, wow.
life purpose, her life path is self-love
Synchronicity.
and learning through love. So like that's why I was laughing and almost crying at the same time, because that is so much her life journey, is her discovering her self-love and through the body temple, the gate 46. So
Whoa. That's powerful. That's an example of the synchronicity that comes in, because like we have her chart here. You like she just learned about this in class, and it's like here it is again to really let you know how to be in your superpower, because her like all that gate 57 like that's a huge part of her psychic imprint, and getting into that with being anchored in love will help her to really utilize that for herself and for others.
yeah, yeah, so beautiful. And so
I'm
what
just
else do you want to
staring.
say?
I'm just like staring at the chart. I have something to ask about like the tone. Um Mine is taste, and I do notice that, but I think I'm paying more attention to all the other things that come up. But anyway, when you were talking about Candace and how hers is feeling and yours is feeling as well, Raquel, how how does that, because you're taking like emotional information or feeling, but she doesn't have, but neither of you are emotional beings. So Candace as a sacral generator, what would you say this like the strategy is on really managing those gifts of empathy or feeling with her inner authority?
Yeah, it's such a good question. So part of the reason why we looked at this in such depth is because um I wonder if I can show her chart based on personality only. Okay.
Oh.
So part of the reason why we look at the tone, which is underneath the line, has to do with whether your inner authority is in your personality or in your body. Because the personality is the mind and the red. So this is all her black gates. So this is her personality. Or um, if we're looking at her body only, so that would be the design only, her red gate. So for her, she's sacral in both. So this is a real gift for her. Her sacral is also in the body. But for a lot of people who do not have their inner authority in their body, like me, it's in my mind. It's very easy for the mind to become involved in your inner authority. And the inner authority is beyond the mind. And so the mind can really trip you up. So when you're looking at the tone, you're looking at a deeper underneath the surface body sensation that can help guide your inner authority. So for Candace, this feeling would probably be interrelated to her sacral, based on what she's sensing um, through. So the sensation of the feeling goes through the emotions, but you're going to be feeling um also everything that's in the room, not just the emotions, but all of the vibrations and the frequency, because it's beneath the line. And so it really is a feeling that you get almost beyond the emotions.
Hmm. I feel that. I know what you're talking about, like really taking the temperature of the room, and it's like a sensing the feeling, and it's in the body with the
Yeah.
current. Yeah. I love that. That is some advanced stuff, and looking at the chart and two different, like the body and the personality, and that really gives inner authority another edge that can really help us make better decisions.
Yeah, so it really is. We just went into a very advanced aspect of human design. So for those of you, and I like to do that for those of you who are advanced, and for those of you who aren't, it's kind of the thing where you just let it wash over you. Don't let it confuse you. Just let it wash over you so that you can come be inspired and save this video and come back to when you're ready. Don't let it make you feel intimidated, because human design is infinitely complex and also very simple.
Oh, it's
If you'll
so,
notice,
yeah.
yeah, because you notice that, like, what do we come back to almost every time? Follow your strategy and inner authority. Like, that's your guide. And so it's infinitely simple, even if you're a beginner. But, this stuff is so fascinating
It's
that for those
fun.
of you who know it, it's just fun, right?
I love how there's always something new to learn. And I do notice it, and I totally did this myself. Like when it caught my interest, I wanted to like learn everything at the same time. And it's like, it's going to take a few years. And then you're still going to have a lot to learn, but it's super fun. So if you're here and you heard that wisdom, it was meant for you. Maybe not right in this moment, but it will make sense later. Like now I have a question about that because you're like a reflector on, is it in your design or your personality?
My design.
So so again with like the waiting for decisions. So as you wait for the invitation, you really just move through it day to day with the moon, I guess. Maybe.
I mean, so I think the inner authority, when it goes from the mind to the body, it doesn't change the actual inner authority to the reflector, but it shows you that your inner authority isn't present in the body. So it's just kind of a guide, because the one thing about this mind and personality and the body, it doesn't change, nothing changes your chart. Like the neutrino string doesn't change your chart, your relationship doesn't change your chart. So the inner authority doesn't change. It just helps guide you to understand it a little bit deeper. As far as like, oh, okay, I'm tripped up in the mind when it comes to my inner authority.
I get that.
Um, so Lauren, we have a question, and by the way, I'm popping on to the chats for a second. So if you have a
Okay,
question,
good.
pop them in there. So Lucille said, "Yeah, I resonated with that. I do have sensitivity and sensitive smell and constant ideas, mostly when I'm around certain other people." So that's exactly it. Like the split that we talked about and the psychic, really interesting. And then Candace says, "Self-love has been my hardest challenge." Yes. Exactly. Lauren called that out so beautifully. Like I was literally crying when you said that, because it really is like her greatest gift and her greatest challenge.
It's so beautiful. And that's sometimes like how it works, is that we like things that are the most difficult for us have the most wisdom. And even if it comes with challenging situations, it can really help our gifts to pop and for us to get into this new place of purpose and alignment. So that's incredible. Really is.
It is. And we have another question here from Aaron. So I want to read this. When you say tone, do you mean super sense, five senses? So that's a great question. The tone is what Ra talks about when we do the four radical transformations. So the four radical transformations, and let me actually put this back into her traditional so we can look at it this way. So the four radical transformations, we find where the arrows are. So, oh, she's four right arrows.
Oh
Isn't it
yeah.
funny all the things that you can look at? It's just,
Yes.
aha, four right arrows. There's the feminine. So the diet, the environment, the view, and the motivation are the four radical transformations. And what Ross says is once you live your strategy and your inner authority and you start to eat correctly based on your type and live correctly in the right environment. And I think there's so many subtleties to that. After I've experimented with my diet for the last 7 years, there's a lot of subtleties to that. But what Ross says is that the tone is this superpower that turns on when you're living correctly, basically. And the superpowers are based on that crazy chart. The crazy chart that
That's just how what we're calling it.
now it's just this is the crazy chart. So the if you'll notice that the hold on, let me move this and then we're going to wrap up here in just a minute, but let me answer this question because I love questions. So you'll notice here that this is all based on, so this is the first tone here, and that's smell. And then we have the second tone here, which is taste, and that's the one Lauren was talking about. But the other thing about taste, it's also like that you have good taste. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have the
Yeah.
taste of the room, like you know the way things should be decorated. I really do sense that about you. Like you have the taste in your clothing, like it has to do with also having good taste. And then the three is the where is it again? The tone three, which is the outer vision. And the outer vision to me doesn't have as much of a clairvoyant gift as this one here, which is clairvoyance, the tone four, the inner vision. And then the fifth tone is the feeling. And then the sixth tone is the touch. So that's where I see the clairvoyant gifts in the chart. And that's just from me witnessing and seeing in people. And then also, like I said, the gate 57 I see. And then up here, I said the claircognizance, which I think is the inner knowing. So that's kind of how I've mapped out the clairvoyant gifts in the human design chart. Not everyone will say this is clairvoyant gifts in human design, but as you know, the intel is mutating and I'm the queen of mutating human design information. But just trust me that I've gone through all of Raw's things. I didn't mutate it until after I learned all of it based on Raw, because you need to know the foundation first. But this is my opinion, and you guys can experiment with it and use it if you see if it resonates with you.
So good. I have like even more questions, but maybe I'll save it for the event or another time that we meet. It's just so
So,
good.
so do you guys have any other questions? Let's check in the chat if there's any other questions. Does anyone have anything else? Late to joining, but really fascinated by this type of reading. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you for joining, Casey. We're glad that you made it. And thank you guys all for being here, and especially those of you that are here live and anybody listening to the recording, please just type in hashtag replay and put in your questions, and Lauren and I will come back and try and answer them as we go. Now that I have this stream here, I'm gonna see if I can read any more chats. And
Yay.
yeah, let's see, I do feel like I have all of them. Candace says some are stronger than others, especially I feel safe and loved. Oh, it's so amazing. Yeah, that 5734. I don't know. I mean, that isn't a whole other um event we could do on like all the gifts of the 5734, because I really do think they have all of the clairvoyant gifts. Do you think you have all of the clairvoyant gifts,
I
Lauren?
I do. Like I am very, very psychic. It's like my only talent. So I'm gonna own it.
That is so not
I
true,
I
but
know, but it's one of
power.
the first things that I could recognize about myself, and it's like, you know what, this is different from whatever I thought was like mainstream, but it's part of like what my offering is. So I'll just own it and say, yes, like I have all these things.
And Chris says also, I have the same with 57. I will say, yes, all the clairs seem to be available to some extent. This is why I said the supersonic 57 psychic, because especially when it's hooked up to that 34, because it's the power of the psychic. This is what I've been witnessing. I see it with so many of my clients that have that, some combination of that. So let's see if there's any last questions. My mom has the 34. My mom has the 34 and the dad has the 57. So my guess is they probably do have psychic connection to each other. The other chart you showed with the instant knowing gates, are those intuitive gates too? Okay, so that's a good question. And let me just pull that up one more time. So the reason I do this is this is the instantaneous knowing through the individual circuitry. I talk about this a lot, and this slide is gonna confuse you a little bit because it's more based on the defined center. So the arrows and stuff are thought pressure. So it's unrelated to these channels. So just to confuse you just one step more, if you're not advanced
Yay.
human design, this might be confusing. But for
That's
those of you who
okay.
are advanced, you're gonna understand that all of these black channels here, those are the channels of the individual. So, like when you saw Lauren's, the 5734 is individual. This is mine, the 2551. So if you have any of these channels, and then here's Lucille's, the 4323. So any of these are related to the instantaneous knowing, which is claircognizance. So if you have individuality in your chart, you're going to have this immediate access to instant knowing.
And that is so cool because since these are all individual channels, it really does require those of us who have them to cultivate trust within ourselves since it is individual and it may not come from your family or different groups or we call it the tribe for human design. So it takes time to really trust yourself and again your discernment on that.
Yeah, so beautiful. Have you heard of Jen Gilchrist? I have went through her intuitive training and found her meditations helpful.
Oh my
Of course
gosh,
we
we
know
love
Jen
her.
Gilchrist. We love
Yes.
her. She was at our Tulum retreat. She was actually at my wedding too.
I love
So
her so much.
we're
Yeah.
obsessed with Jen Gilchrist, and she did one of my programs back in the day. And like I don't know for her, it like I know she doesn't embody human design like the level we do, but she does know and embodies her inner authority as well as part of her spiritual gifts.
She
Um,
has the gate 57 like activated prominently. I'll just
yes,
say
she does. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I think she's got the 34 up to the 20, right? To the 57. Doesn't she have all of it? Or is it the 10? It might be the 10.
I just remember the 57 was there and it was in a full channel and she's a generator.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. But we love Jen Gilchrist. We're big Jen Gilchrist fans.
always. Forever.
So yeah. All right, you guys. I feel like it's time. I think we've like really done an incredible deep dive here. We've gone for like almost 90 minutes, I think.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I don't know, has it been that long? It's been a
Amazing.
while. And it was so much
Yeah.
fun. I love it so much. And what I would love to do is just kind of finish up with our final plug to Awake Shift. And I'm going to go back through also the replay and any questions you guys have. And if anyone's curious about Awake Shift, our conference coming up, we would love to have you there. And for all of you that are here live, thank you so much. We're so grateful to have shared this time with you.
I'm so excited about the event and really looking forward to spending time with you, Raquel, and to everyone who gets to attend the event and be with us in person. It's just such a fun way to spend my time, you know?
It's going to be the best. So sorry, guys. I know that I missed some questions, but we will circle around to get to them. And again, if you guys have more questions, just drop them in the chat. And if you're curious about the event, reach out to Lauren or reach out to me. We're happy to help you guys figure out if it's the right event for you to do for December, but only if you want to have a complete transformation and beautiful, powerful experience and life.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. I feel like this event's going to move a lot of energy and it's really going to get us ready for this next calendar year and just bring up what needs to be seen in this safe environment where there's just an abundance of support and connection.
Yeah, and for anybody who needs healing, any type of healing, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, this is really going to be a space of deep, deep processing and healing as well. So once again, thank you guys so much. Thank you everybody who is here live. We love you.
We love
Mwah.
you. Bye-bye.
Something is stirring in Southern California. A movement, an ignition, a shift, a point of power. We are coming together off the screen, off the phone, out of the noise, behind TV, away from the news, into breath, into soul, into your design experiment. This is Awake Shift, a live, spiritualized, human design conference experience like no other. Here we share the codes of human design, not just to understand, but to embody, to live, to be in your experiment. We gather to remember who we are together as a community, as a fractal. Enlightenment, healing, visioning, connection. This is not another Zoom. It's not a cold boardroom. It's not social media. It's not a sales pitch. It's an activation point. Are you ready for your shift?